Alrighty, so y'all know I fish out of the Old Town Autopilot 136. Got the motor up here. You've seen other YouTubers like Has Life, you know, he fishes out of one. Justin from Kayak Catfish, he had one for a while before he got rid of it. He liked it for the most part. The motor is a little loud, like he said. To me, it's not really that big of a deal, but it is a little loud. When you got a little bit of a wind and a little bit of chop out there, like I'm fishing the ocean, it's not noticeable. But when it's like a quiet day and you're up on like the Tennessee River, you definitely can hear it. However, I think it's okay. I still love this thing. It holds me in place. I have had it pull against some giant fish out in the ocean, some monster black drum. So I think it's good. We're going to continue using it. Next kayak, I guess, probably going to be Native Titan. But for now, I'm going to continue hammering home this puppy. And you can see right here. It's the Old Town Sportsman. That's the 136 Autopilot. So anyway, this is going to be kind of like a Yakattack commercial, because that's just about everything I use on this thing. We have the black box, which is the battery box for my depth finder, which we have right here. Nothing fancy, just a little depth finder. Can get me over the fish, and that's pretty much it. We got the switch blade, which is the little switch arm for my transducer. Like I said, this thing, I've put it through all kinds of trouble, all kinds of hell. It is held up. I've had big fish banging around, banging into it. Now, I did mount the full aluminum plates, like you see right here. I think it's the 16-inch plates. And I actually got down inside the kayak and bolted it. So it's bolted with like actual steel plating on the underside. My idea is that with all of that extra plating, if I have a fish pull down on the rod, because I do use drag, I don't let them just free spool with this, that I use these rod holders here, which I'll show you in a second, to drop baits down below me for catfish and whatever else. That plate and everything would be enough force being spread out across the kayak that it would, you know, it would hold it in place. I haven't had one crack or anything like that. Now, I don't use like infinite amounts of drag. You know, I keep it pretty light, like 15 pounds at the most, but still enough to hook up on the fish. So then right here, the AR rod holders or rod tubes, whatever you want to call them. I love these things. They have been through, heck, you can actually see where they've been banged up by some big fish in here and stuff. I've got one on all four corners of the kayak. Here recently, I did take this one off up here because I ended up mounting some other stuff right here in the front, like battery packs and things. So I figure a lot of times I either will just run 3 rods, or if I don't want to have this right here, I can actually move it and I'll have another rod holder here. But I've actually started dropping down from using 4 rod holders. I might drift usually 2 to 3 at the most now. It's just too much to keep up with where I fish at. So here is the battery. The ampere time, 100 amp hour. Love this battery. It's freaking awesome. The only thing is, I don't know much about it. So I got this battery because I was using the Amped Outdoors, which are great. I love those batteries also. But I couldn't spend, you know, $500 to $700 on a battery. You know, the 60 amp hour that I had was like almost $600 when I got it, something like that. I spent less than $400 on this. Been using it now like a year and a half, something like that. I've never ran dry. I've been able to go up and down, fish 8 hours, 9 hours. Always had the motor constantly running the entire time. You know, spot locking or running wide open to get to spots. I have yet to get this thing under, I think I've had it as low as 40%. But I have never once come close to running this thing dry. I mean, you're talking about, the last time I went out with the 60 amp hour, I ended up having to try to paddle back against a crosswind and current. And I like to never got this kayak bad because this thing weighs over, I want to say 250 pounds after I have all of my equipment in it. But anyway, so far I love this battery. I am not sponsored by them, so I feel like I have to tell you all that because I am sponsored by a few companies. I am not sponsored. This is just for me using. I found it. I wanted a cheaper option just so I could get out on the water. And for so far, it has been great. I will let you know if things go wrong with it later, if anything happens. Hopefully nothing does. I mean, we're coming up on the 2-year mark on this thing, and, you know, it's been amazing. Had it in freshwater and saltwater. All right, you got the seat on the kayak. It's really fancy. It's mostly comfortable. I will need to get one of the kayak cushions that they make. They're kind of expensive, but it's going to be worth it because it is starting to get kind of a little bit wore thin on this. I probably just need to replace the seat, honestly. But underneath it, we have the battery box. That's where the battery normally sits. And you can see the plug back there where it plugs in at. I'm actually probably going to take the kayak out tomorrow, I'm thinking, since the weather is so, you know, nice. We're actually going to come around on the other side too and show you. That's why I didn't even take it out of the back of my truck, because I figured I was going to go out anyway. You know, they have the little pocket here. It's water resistant, not waterproof. It does get water in it sometimes, so you got to kind of be careful. I still put my phone and wallet, stuff like that, usually in a bag. Sometimes I don't if it's like a really nice day, but if it's got any kind of waves or stuff, I usually still put them in some kind of bag because it will get water in there. Oh yeah, also, I got tired of my bags constantly getting wet sitting up here, which is a kayak. You're gonna get wet. I mean, that's just part of it, but still, you don't have to get soaked all the time, especially now when it's getting colder. So I ordered some more of these plugs right here. They've got the same kind of plug underneath the battery box over there. Since I've put these in, it has been way better up here. I do not get soaked as much anymore, which means it's a more comfortable ride. So once again, I put in little plates back here. It's the little short aluminum plates. They're like the 6-inch or 8-inch. I think they're 6-inch or something like that, maybe 4. It's one of the shorter ones. I can't remember exactly what, but it's shorter. But same thing, anchored down. This is the one that I actually had the giant flathead, had this thing bent all the way over into the water. No issues whatsoever. AR tube, it's pretty good. I'm thinking about this year coming up, I might swap these out for the, I think it's called like the bazooka tube. Just because this right here, I'm either going to take this off or get the bazooka tubes, because this does make it a little bit a pain in the butt when I'm trying to shove a rod down in here and they catch. It's just a little thing. A lot of times, you know, it's just like the microseconds you need for hooking up on a fish. I still use the what do you call it, the factory tube rod holders for whenever I'm trolling for big fish. I did that a lot this year for sharks. Still haven't landed a big shark in this kayak. They've all been small. We will get one this year coming up, I think. I'm hoping maybe a bull shark. It ain't got to be a giant. If we can get one 4 or 5 foot, I'll be happy. But I'm really kind of shooting for like that 6-foot range out of this thing. So here's the main piece right here. This just came in, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago. This was my early Christmas present to myself. I've been needing this for organizing all of my stuff. So it's the 16 by 16 black pack. It's the big old box. I put the latches on it. I put all the rod holders it came with. You know, it comes with 6 of the rod tubes so you can stand your rods up. And that made a big difference. No more getting hung up in rods all laying down, or, you know, trying to lay them up here by my feet and everything. I took them out up to the Tennessee River last week. I didn't really do too good fishing, but it was kind of like test out everything, you know what I mean? And I had 6 rods in here. They were all stood straight up, out of the way. Never once was an issue. Had the little straps to lock them down, so if anything happened and I flipped, I wouldn't lose nothing. It's got the little bolts right here, the strap for the straps. You can kind of put it into whatever. I had them actually anchored right here, and I'm gonna put some more anchors on it. And I mean, it did well. This thing holds a crap ton of stuff. I mean, it's a huge space. I'm not gonna open it right now because I've got, you know, lures and everything in it. Opened up some space right here. Normally stuff just kind of like sloshed back and forth in the backpack here whenever we're moving, but now this kind of creates like a pocket. The stuff can just kind of sit back here behind my seat, which is really nice. And then towards the back we have the boom arm for the GoPro mounts. I started filming going behind me towards the front for like a different angle, I'm trying to get as many different angles now on my videos coming up as possible. Try to make it more enjoyable. Try to be more professional. It's going to be kind of hard to do. I don't have all the money in the planet to put into this stuff, but you know, we're getting there. As we grow and we get more money coming in, more companies talking to us, you know, we're making it happen. And then the last part, this is the only non-Yakattack thing on here. This is like the Trailblazer or Railblazer. I can't remember what it's called, if I could get to it. But it's for the flag. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Holds my little flags. I got my funny little kayaking flag on here, so you can see it. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Love it. Little piratey vibe, because it's kind of like my little pirate ship. We can get it back in there. I run this thing the entire time that I'm in my kayak. I have almost been run over by boats, even with this flag and light in here. I don't always have the light on, but I always have the flag. And I have almost been run over twice now by other boats, even with that there. So it is staying in for maximum visibility. I do not want to get run over. I'm even thinking about putting like some, I don't know, some strips or something that like can reflect back light, or maybe even some actual lights, LED lights or something, just to be even more visible. Because let's face it, most of them people out on the water are not paying attention at all. Half the time I look up, the two that almost ran me over, when I seen them coming, they weren't even looking as they were driving. They had their heads down, probably texting. Anyway, I'm not going to get onto that, but it wasn't until like, I don't know, 20 feet in front of me before they finally saw that I was there and veered off. One was going fast, the other one was slow enough I could get out of the way. I was just kind of sitting there waiting to see if he would move. So might even look into getting a bigger flag, something to catch even more attention. I don't know, but for now that one's fine. This is really just my setup. I have been using this kayak now since it came out. I pre-ordered this thing before they hit the market. I seen an advertisement for it, ordered it, and I had to wait forever to get this thing. I was so mad watching all these YouTubers getting them for free to test them out, and I had already pre-ordered mine. Probably dumb on my part. I had used other kayaks and I had liked them, but I just wanted something different. When I saw this was being announced, I just kind of like knew this was going to be the kayak I was going to put all my time and effort into. So I pre-ordered it, and it took me 9 months to get it. They were so backed up with pre-orders, it took forever to get one. But anyway, last little thing, nothing fancy. For the little flag for traveling, it's just my old work vest. Gets everybody's attention. You're probably wondering why it's in the back of my truck. Well, as of right now, I have a million other things to spend my money on. I can't get a trailer. I'm not building one right now. That's one good thing about this big kayak. You know, it's almost 14 foot long, and it weighs a bunch. You know, weighs like 150 pounds, I think. 140 something pounds, empty. That's no motor, no battery, no chair. It's just the shell of this thing. But surprisingly, it gets in and out of the back of the truck super easy. I've got a little system where I kind of like can ratchet it up in and out. It's not usually too big of a deal. It's not enough of a problem that I had to prioritize getting a trailer. So that's probably one of the next things on my list this year coming up, is after we get a few things paid off and taken care of, I will probably get a trailer for it. And then, you know, I won't have to take this stuff in and out. It will just slide, you know, into the water with everything packed in. So that's just a quick little rundown. There's other little things that I did I could show you real fast, like to make my life a little bit easier. You can see here, I actually bolted the grippers for the fish right here to the side of the kayak. They just go in and out. Most of the time that works right there. It's actually out of the way. It's perfectly in line with my hips, so my hands naturally fall to it whenever I have a fish. And so far, it has held up. I mean, it's been banged around by big fish. So I've done a few little things like that. Next thing on my list to work on is one problem I did have with it, and everybody in the world has talked about it that's owned one of these. The cup holders don't drain off water. They hold water and it never comes out of them. You have to dip them out or whatever. I seen where a guy online drilled a hole and ran a tube from inside into one of the right here above one of the plugs, so it could drain water right out of it. That's going to be my next little thing. It's just kind of a quality of life adjustment that I'm going to make to it. But other than that, it has been good so far to me. I've not really had to replace too much. I got to do some work to it now coming up this year. It's finally to the point to where the plugs are not working like they need to on the kayak. They started going out on the last trip. So I'm going to get better plugs and rewire it. And just things like that. But I mean, I've been in saltwater, freshwater. I've been fighting giant fish. You know, had the motor going wide open trying to hold me from getting pulled into freaking bridge legs with giant black drum on the other end of the line. You know, sooner or later, stuff's going to start going out on it. I figure I've been blessed 2 years with this thing, so we're going to have to make a few little things. One of the things is the clips here have started to rust, so I've got to replace those. But all in all, this thing has been a beast for 2 years now, or however long it's been out. Is it 2 years? It might have been 2 years. It's probably longer than that at this point. I don't know. I've been super happy with it. We're going to continue busting big fish this year coming up. I'm going to do more saltwater fishing. Y'all seem to enjoy that more than anything. So we're going to get back out there. We're going to do some lives. You know, try to do more videos. I'm going to try to be structured this year. So we're going to try to put videos out every week at a certain time. Probably one a week. We're not going to get too crazy. If I can get 3 videos a month, like, you know, long form content for you, that'll be good. I don't want to get burnt out. I could have had more content this year, but just with all the stuff going on in life and everything else happening and like money and everything else, I just kind of got complacent. So I really want to be more professional with it. I want to pick back up with it, be more confident when I talk to y'all instead of worrying about people thinking I'm crazy. We all know I'm crazy. They just are seeing it out in the open now. So, but anyway, that's it. Probably sooner or later I'll be in the market to try a different kayak, really looking at those native Titans. But I'm probably going to always have this puppy, at least until it falls apart on me. You can see it's getting scuffed up. But that's it. Going to be fishing probably tomorrow. Maybe I'll make a video out of it if I catch anything. If not, then, you know, whatever. I'll just make a report on my Facebook and let you know we didn't catch any fish. That's one thing I'm going to do is accountability this year. If I don't catch fish and I can't make a video, I'm going to at least give you a report, because we don't always catch fish when we go out and make these videos. You just see the days they do catch fish. Anyway, it's your boy Magic Pat. I'm out.